been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it's sink or swim, only option is to win. In the murky water, not a thought of giving in. Welcome to the shrimp tank. Want to put it all together, this is big thanks. Doing big things. We ain't in the same league. Running a campaign, Roadie 2016. Like a phone to die, putting me in charge. I'm a general, from the front I'ma lead the charge. Like a federal, fell on my lap never. Going hard as ever.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode here on the Shrimp Tank Podcast, where we get to feature the best and brightest entrepreneurs from South Florida, powered by Celsius Beverage. If this is your first time tuning in, catch all these amazing episodes up on our website, shrimptankpodcast.com. And of course, we come live every single week on the FEU College of Business page. Follow them and you get to watch these streams live and comment and potentially get your question answered live by our guest. And of course, this week we are switching things up. We are doing a game show to kick our show off. I'm going to let my co-hosts start things off.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Kevin Cox with the Adams Center for Entrepreneurship. And I am proud to introduce our guest this week, Jaime Villegas of Bob Smith Plumbing. One of the things we encourage our students to do is learn how to deliver an excellent elevator pitch. So, Jimmy, I'm going to put you on the spot and give you exactly 60 seconds to deliver an elevator pitch. You think you can do it? Introduce yourself, your company, a little background, but not too long.
All right, appreciate being put on the spot. So Jaime Villegas, owner of Bob Smith Plumbing. We specialize in cast iron replacement, where you're able to stay in your home or keep operating your business while we go ahead and do the work underneath. So we don't touch your floors. We keep everything pristine, all from underneath.
Nice. Nailed it. Plenty of time left.
Okay. Before we start the show, Kevin, what's up with this hat? What's this new addition over here? Is this the new Kevin Cox?
It's bright out there. It's sunny. It's shiny, you know.
It is raining.
I'm going to be mixing it up this season.
I like this. I can't wait till Halloween when you bring the sports jacket back.
All right. Well, let's put one more person on the spot. We've got a special guest joining us for the game show portion of the show. You think you can give us an elevator pitch? Introduce yourself. Go right on ahead.
My name is Sebastian Marcus. I have been in retail for the past since I was 18. I'm now 24. So I've been doing retail for a while. I've been in pretty much almost every industry. Right now I'm in the firearms industry. So, you know, if you ever need any advice on how to sell something, I actually hit this month's revenue stream in one day.
Oh, there we go. Well, that's a tough contestant today for the show.
Jimmy, you might have to hire him. One day he hit his goal.
Come on through.
Okay, well, Kevin, why don't you set the framework for this show? Tell everyone what's in store for the next 15 minutes.
I have no idea. The students, their professor, tests. We've got a wonderful, exciting experiment. Let's start the game show. Go on up.
Okay, the host, come on down. What is so cool about this show is we have 30 plus students in the audience that are taking an entrepreneurship class at Florida Atlantic University. And part of their curriculum is to actually come up with a show design and air it live. So go for it.
Yeah, tell us the rules, the guidelines. How's this thing going to work? And be sure to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, so I'm Ryan, and these questions weren't prepared by me. They're prepared by my professor. And it's going to be a rapid-fire quiz.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to hit you guys with like 10 to 12 questions, some multiple choice, some true, false. And first person to buzz gets the answer. If you're wrong, you get -1 point. If you're right, you get +2 points. If you get it wrong, someone else can buzz and steal it.
Okay. So -2 points if you start guessing like last week, Jason. I like this.
Okay.
All right. I'll hit you guys with the first question. So what share of new U.S. businesses typically survive the first year? A, 50%, B, 65%, C, 80%, or D, 90%?
50%.
No.
Oh. I love
60.
No.
Oh, he got it.
90.
No.
I don't even remember the last one.
C. I steal
the last
C.
one.
Yeah, so the answer was C, 80%.
80%.
And
I think
Professor
you all
Cox,
come on.
got that
You know
wrong,
that data
actually.
point.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check into that data. Next question.
All right, number 2. What shares survive the first 5 years now? So A, 30%, B, 50%, C, 70%, or D, 85%?
30.
No.
thought it was 10. But
I
it's
did
not on
too.
there. It's not on there. Every stat used to say 10%.
What letter
They weren't
did you
even
guess?
close.
I said 30.
Was that B?
That's the lowest one. The next one's 50%.
50%.
Yeah. There we go. All right, he's on the
I could
board.
have sworn it was 10%.
Yeah, all
I thought I
right.
read that stat somewhere else. That's
That's
why I
why I
didn't
went
buzz
with
in.
the lowest number.
Okay, I got
Mhm.
one win.
All right, number 3. Most common initial funding source for U.S. startups is A, bank loans, B, venture capital, C, government grants, or
D, bootstrapping. They're self-funded.
exactly, you're right,
Boom.
personal or family savings.
I saw Kevin's hand waiting for that one.
All right, number 4. Which helps pioneer firms survive in a new industry or region? A, hiring workers with related industry experience. B, hiring generalists only. Or C, hiring workers with managerial experience.
You're up.
C.
No,
Hey,
that's right. Yeah, hiring workers with related industry experience. All right, so number 5. What does MVP stand for?
Minimum viable product.
That's right, Kevin.
You'd hope so.
he talks about that every week in his class.
All right, number 6. This is the first true false. So, older founders in their 40s to 50s are on average more successful than 20-something founders.
True.
Exactly. You're right. All right, number 7. True false again. Founders who have failed once are statistically more likely to
True.
He's right again. We got to put a
Sorry,
limit on this
Kevin.
or something. Okay. Number 8. What is the number one most commonly cited reason startups fail in post-mortem studies?
They don't know who their customers are.
So, like, no market need?
Yeah, product market fit.
Yeah, that's the right answer. All right, number 9. Research shows solo founders compared to founding teams have higher survival odds, the same survival odds, or lower survival odds.
Lower.
That's right.
There
Yeah.
you go, Jimmy. Back on the board.
Coming from behind.
All right. Number 10. James Dyson built roughly how many prototypes before the first bagless vacuum worked? A, approximately 500, B, approximately 1,000, or C, approximately 5,000.
Approximately 1,000.
No,
500.
no,
5,000.
Okay,
you're
well,
right.
twice.
Yeah, he built approximately 5,000 prototypes. So consistency really is key there. All right.
All right.
Okay, are we done with our show?
Yeah, part
Yeah,
2. Let's
part
do
2.
it.
Go
This
for it.
part, this part is really where I shine.
Yeah, so this is the audience portion of it. So you guys are going to come up with a couple open-ended questions, like give your best 30-second piece of entrepreneurial advice or something of the sort, entrepreneurial related. And each of the contestants is going to answer it themselves, and you guys are going to vote on all of their answers.
Ooh, I like this.
And this is worth 5 times the amount of points.
Yes, triple points.
Okay, great.
Quintuple points.
You guys both have a chance to come from behind to catch me.
I
Okay.
think
okay.
I'm below 0. So yeah.
I got 1 point.
Okay, let's go.
Guys, remember, this is for do you guys want any Celsius,
Oh, you need them to ask the question.
Oh, I thought you were asking the question. I thought that we were all going to answer
Oh.
the question you were asking.
I have
Okay.
some questions here, but yeah, we have a question from the audience coming up right
Oh,
now.
gotcha.
I was just going to ask, what was one of the biggest challenges of starting your own business?
Okay, so we're all going, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy, go for it.
I didn't necessarily start it. I bought revenue more than creating revenue, but I think you still have the challenges of earning your credit with everybody, not just your customers, but the employees, especially since I bought in. I had to get all their respect. So I'm going to say that's one of the biggest challenges.
Kevin, go for it.
Oh, sure. One of my biggest challenges with one of the startups I started was we made a terrible product. Pretty straightforward.
I did streaming for a little while, did YouTube, did the whole social media thing. The worst thing I did was not study any of the stuff I was doing. I had no idea where to begin. I was just making videos and no one was watching them because I didn't know my market.
Okay, I'll start to go back to my early days in New York City as a financial advisor. It's getting customers to sit with you. Nobody cares what you're offering. They've heard it a million times and you can't get enough meetings. And I would just get out there early in the morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock, and just hustle as much as I could to convince someone to sit with me is the hardest thing in my life.
Okay, that one's going to be real hard to score, though. You want to go to the next one?
They have to score it.
How's that going to work? You only have
thumbs up.
and
Ready? How many thumbs up for
down.
me? Okay, I got that many thumbs up for Jimmy. For Kevin. Sorry, Kevin. For our student co-host.
I think Jimmy won that.
Jimmy won it. Jimmy took it down.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how we score that. See that?
That was great.
Amazing.
I'm going to hit you guys with a couple more here. So this is the setting. You've been contracted as a consultant to help with starting a new cafe at FAU.
Ooh.
Pitch a customer discovery plan for a new campus food startup. How should entrepreneurs confirm who their target customer is and what they want?
I'll take a stab at this one, being familiar with FAU. What they should do is come up with samples, right? A prototype, that minimum viable product. What is their coffee? What are their specials going to be? What are they going to deliver to students? Well, they got to figure out what students want. So they need to set up one of those vendor tables on the breezeway. Great place about the location of the breezeway. Guess what you have to walk through to get to Starbucks? The breezeway. So there's already people walking there on their way to get coffee. Now you pop in, you got sample coffees. You can test flavors, you can test recipes, you can test pricing, and you can get feedback from your customers before you go any further, because obviously there is some notable competition, Starbucks, on campus. You learn an immense amount by doing an experiment like that. You guys want to answer?
Jimmy, you want to go?
I'm kind of going to piggyback on that. Besides doing that, you have to ask for their feedback, and get specific with it, because if you don't ask, you're never going to know. You're just always going to assume. And that goes with any business, just always asking for the referral, asking for that next sale. So you got to ask.
Yeah.
So my answer to that would also be piggybacking on sampling. The problem is not many students like to go through the breezeway because you get hassled a lot. So people would ignore it. Social media would help a lot with that, like social media marketing, try and get your product out there, understand the recipes, and just like honestly going behind the scenes, do what no one else does. Show them how you make the coffee, show them where it's coming from, show them the recipes that you're making.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Okay, I would come in and say, look, this same example of cafe is being done at University of Miami. And what we're seeing is 10 times the amount of improvement when it comes to scores, because students are studying on university campuses. They're sitting down at the cafe. They're communicating with one another. It's leading to deeper relationships and lower anxiety, lower depression rates on campus. This is something that you have to consider over Starbucks, because look at this data. The data does not lie. This is working 10 times and more profitable for the university. We got to do this cafe at FAU.
Okay, so you really got two options, students, right? Market research, more market research, digital combined with market research versus lie to all the students.
Hey, he's not allowed to say that. He said give a pitch. I gave a pitch. The person doesn't know that. Okay, hands up for me. Thumbs up. Kevin swung the vote.
How about the other three of us?
Okay, Jimmy's next.
No,
Kevin.
we're all on one.
Kevin.
Ooh,
I think it's you guys versus me.
yeah, it is.
Okay.
We win.
Thought
Any more?
Kevin swung my vote. Okay, is that the final one, or we got any more?
I'll give you guys one more. So each of you tell us a mistake you'd want every founder to avoid and the habit that prevents it.
All right, that's a hard one.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Sure.
Don't give up. If you give up, then it's doomed to fail. I know that's a gambler's fallacy, but you have to just try. The other thing that you have to remember when you try and start your own company is if you have an idea that you believe so hard on it, you're going to fight for it. Other people might back you on that too. So you have to bank on the idea that you can do it, that other people got your back, and that never just give up.
All right, I got one too now because I see this stuff a ton. you gotta listen to and believe and take into account. Jimmy started with it last question, that feedback, right? As Jason noted last week, like not necessarily from mentors, advisors, or people that aren't in the space, but from your customers. On the early stages as a customer, when you're trying to design a product for them and price it for them and it's all for them, they are always right, or they're not your customer. But if you're sure they're your customer, you have to listen to feedback and you have to apply it.
I'm going to say with something I've been dealing with and focusing on is keeping momentum. Don't stop. Don't let momentum get lost. You build something up, you keep going at it, and like he said, don't give up. Just keep going. It's that momentum. You got to keep that momentum going.
Mine's going to be don't try to know everything. So often early entrepreneurs think that they have to tell the other person on the other side of the table the exact answer on the spot, and you don't. You could literally just say, I have a team and I'm going to be back in touch with you to find out a good solution on your behalf. And I think too often new founders try to know everything, don't partner with the right experts, and ending up not communicating back to their customers. And customers need communications today, as easy as it is with these cell phone devices, to text someone, to leave a voice note, send a video. People are not doing it. Every single week I am no-showed, canceled on, or somebody is late onto a Zoom meeting. And it frustrates me because it's so easy. I've been in a hospital bed with my phone attached to my hip saying, sorry, I can't make the meeting tomorrow because I'm in a hospital bed. But yet so many people use that as a crutch, an excuse, and it's just not acceptable. So I would say for new entrepreneurs, don't read everything you see on the internet. It's not always true. People want direct communication as quickly as possible and to be honest. Don't try to fake it till you make it.
Wow. All right, so let's look to the audience. What do you guys think?
Okay, I guess me first. They're going up.
Almost unanimous.
Okay, Jimmy. Remember, you got a thumbs down, Kevin.
We got a lot
Kevin?
of work to do on
Any
this
thumbs down?
game
Oh,
show,
Kevin got
Jason.
thumbs down. Look at this. You got Kevin, sorry.
This game show needs work.
Hey, it's ran by students. That's the best part of this. They're learning. They got to learn on the fly as well. Okay. I think it's unanimous. I took the win on that one.
Way to go.
Okay. Great job.
Yeah, way to go, Ryan. Nice job on the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Don't forget to take those off.
Okay, now we're going to switch gears. Jimmy, the next 10 minutes of the show, we're going to learn everything about you behind the scenes of Bob Smith Plumbing. So let's kick things off. Kind of share how you took over this company. I think there's a backstory to it, right? Give us, 2-minute, journey of how you became the owner of this brand.
So I've always been in construction my entire life, and predominantly structural, building custom homes, being a superintendent for that. And back in 2008, we obviously had that crisis with the homes. Everything went south. So in between looking for jobs, I knew an attorney in Fort Lauderdale, and he needed a maintenance guy. So at that point, had a kid on the way, wife's working, start up home, got to do something. So I took that job, and doing that job, it led on to other responsibilities, being the property manager at times, taking on the construction projects that he was doing because he had multiple properties. And in one of those properties, he was actually using Bob to tunnel underneath one of the commercial spots in Fort Lauderdale. And just in relations with Bob and how I dealt with that, and part of that is being able to answer quickly too, with speed. Bob offered me a job. He's like, if you ever want to change industries, give me a shout. So about a month after he gave me that opportunity, gave him a call and took the opportunity to go over and work for Bob. After about 18 months of working with him, his father passed away, and he asked me, are you interested in buying the company? And I said, what do I have to lose? Let's go for it.
I love that story because you jumped into a field you didn't know everything, and you just learned on the fly because you saw an opportunity. And so often I see today that people don't want to jump in because like they say to themselves, hey, I don't really know much about that industry, but you just said, I'll figure this out. I think that's so important when it comes to entrepreneurship. I built a mobile app when many people said it's impossible. They're like, you don't have any, tech background, how to code. And I said, I'll figure it out. Right. And I think it's important to kind of take into account everything you went through, all those struggles, those early days, putting out fires and just overcoming it. Because I'm sure there's so many backstories to that. How many employees do you have approximately now?
Roughly around 23, including myself and my wife.
Wow. Kevin, he puts out a lot of fires. 23.
Oh, yeah. That's got to keep you busy.
And a spouse.
Tell us a little bit more, right? So, like, what is the differentiator between Bob's Plumbing and how they do things? I know it's a little bit unique. And then the branding. I think that's interesting for the students, too. It's not Jimmy's plumbing. You didn't change it. So, talk a little bit about the company specifically, what makes it unique, and also why you decided to keep the brand, at least for now.
So we're unique because we are in a niche field. When you talk to a lot of experts, you know, they always try to separate you from the general, find a niche. The niches has the riches. So, but we started off with that niche, and what the niche is, we're able to tunnel underneath a home, a business, industrial complex. It doesn't matter, to replace mostly it's cast iron pipe that's failed. So instead of cutting your floors, displacing the family, shutting down the business, we're able to do everything from underneath and keep the people in their home or keep the business operating and not having to shut down. So it's a win-win on both sides. And regardless of the price tag that it has, it's still definitely a lot cheaper than having to put your whole house back together. You know, I don't know how many marriages we might have saved from divorce, because, you know, when you got to pick the finishes, always creates some turbulence there. But that's
I think it's hard enough to do planned renovation, and it sounds like it would be unplanned, right? Because it's not something you expected to do. But a pipe burst, the room got ruined, so you have to redo it. So that is a lot of stress. Talk about the branding.
So I kept it Bob Smith because he was known for what it was. And like I said before, I bought into a revenue, had no experience. Nobody knew who I was. I had no connections. So why am I going to start changing the recipe? Keep it for what it is. It's known for this. Learn it the best I can, then start sprinkling what I have involved to be able to make it more efficient and make it my own. So, and it's an all-American name too. So if I ever want to expand, it's a lot easier for me to go than to say Jimmy Villegas Plumbing. It's a lot harder. So that's part of the reason why I kept it the brand that it was.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense, and it hasn't really been announced yet, but it's not going to happen for a while. Or hell, I guess I can announce it here, right? The Adams Center for Entrepreneurship launching a new program late this spring, and it's going to focus on executive education, focused explicitly on entrepreneurship through acquisition. Because I've found that, you know, starting a business from scratch isn't for everybody, right? And we have a lot of these baby boomers who own businesses. About 11% of all of them own businesses. And the only way they can retire is by selling those businesses. So there are a lot of working professionals that would love to be their own boss and increase their income through seller discretionary earnings, right? An owner operator business. And the process to do that is called entrepreneurship through acquisition, buying a business, right? Pretty simple. But if you were going to spend, you know, $500,000 to $2 million, maybe supported by an SBA loan, and you've never done that, you've worked in a corporate environment, you might be well suited for it based on your characteristics, but you have no idea how. That's why we're going to offer that new seminar late this spring. It's going to be 3 days, intensive and highly focused on people who do want to be their own boss and business owner, but they don't want to start from scratch. There are plenty of perfectly good businesses that come up for sale. Well, and again, those people need to retire.
Well, let's use Jimmy as an example. How did you get the capital to buy this business? Right. You just joined and you said 18 months later, you took it over. So what did you go through and what were the problems that arose right afterwards? Because I'm sure it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't. But I was fortunate enough that he was willing to do owner finance. And that's one of the things that go out there is owner finance, not having to go out to a bank. So obviously, whatever I had to put down, I put down. But then the way it was structured every week, I had to make sure. And the reason they did that, because if you get behind a week, it's a lot easier for them to catch it. So if you can find owner financing, that's going to be your most friendly option than having to go out, because the interest rates are going to be a lot more reasonable.
Can you just explain that? Like, keep it on a 101 scale, because I think everyone says owner financing, but not many students probably know what that really means. And I just want to kind of explain compared to like a typical bank or an SBA loan.
So owner finance, that's when the actual owner, Bob, he allowed me to make payments to buy the company.
Yeah, and it's not all that uncommon. And given the current interest rates, right? One, you avoid all that bank, very algorithm driven, get the loan, don't get the loan based on your own credit history and assets you can have for collateral. Instead, you can have a different contract. The interest rates right now are pretty attractive. So from a seller's perspective, it can actually be tax efficient, right? These are people that are trying to retire. They may not want to sell the whole business and have all that income in 1 year, whereas if they could, do that over 5 years and help the next generation buy into a business, might be mutually beneficial for both. They get a little more money from the interest, they get the tax savings, and you buy a business that you otherwise probably couldn't afford to buy outright and maybe couldn't get a loan.
And you can do a combo.
Absolutely.
I do a lot with business owners that take SBA loans out. I help them get their life insurance requirements. So I see the actual deals. I've done 300 to 400 of those type of transactions in my financial service business. And you'll see a lot of deals where they'll max out at the 5 million on the SBA loan side, and then they'll get a 5 million private financing side. So you do see combos as well. And what people don't realize, it's really hard to get an SBA loan, right? Almost all the stuff that comes across my desk is franchises, because the success rate of a franchise is much higher and they have the data to back it up. So the SBA likes them. But if you're going out to Bob Smith Plumbing, right there, let's see your books. The books, aren't as clean potentially as a franchise. They don't have the data as much to back up, how what the performance will be like. So the typical mom and pop businesses are a lot more difficult to get SBA loans, I recognize. So it brings up some really valid points. So I like that part of the story. So talk about the struggles though. Your first 2 years, you take over this business, you got to hit every single week this goal because you have, a loan commitment with your name on it. What goes wrong? Tell us the truth.
Well, you always seek advice, and you got to be careful because not always all advice is good advice. Because you got to remember, people are speaking from their experience and their perspective, may not necessarily be yours. And in the early years, one of them is obviously when you're coming to the end of the year and taxes. Everybody fears taxes. Buy some new trucks, buy some new tools, have all this so you don't have to pay in taxes. I did that 1 year, and the beginning of the following year was not the same. So when payroll comes up and you need to make sure there's payroll and you and your wife are the ones not getting a check, that made a real big shift, because to me at that point, that's when I learned the value of cash flow. Cash flow is the lifeline of any business you have. If you have no cash flow, forget what it is, forget your receivables, you got nothing. So I learned that lesson pretty quick. I'd rather pay a little extra taxes as long as I have that cash flow.
And I'll piggyback that is liquidity. I see a lot of first-time founders make a lot of mistakes. They come into cash. They have $100,000 sitting in the bank. What do? They start buying assets that aren't liquid, right? And then they go through a cycle like 2008, and that money's locked up. They could have been in some investment product, or, you see all these different types of investments with crypto these days, or real estate. Real estate's not liquid, right? People love real estate, but be careful when you want to sell it. It's a down market. It could sit on the market for months and months, or you have to sell it at a much lower rate, of course.
Absolutely.
All right, I got a couple more, and then that's it for me. You mentioned it would be very easy to go into other verticals besides plumbing. What do you have planned for the future of Bob's Plumbing?
Well, we introduced last year full service. We did that because of the commitment and the service that we give our customers. They always ask if we did something else. So in order to be able to offer them that, we started, but we're building from the inside. We're not bringing outside techs to go ahead and do service, because I hear all in the horror stories from everybody else. So we want to, as a company, what we do is we want to grow our people up personally, not just on the professional side. That's just something that we do. Because we feel if you improve yourself personally, you're going to bring that to the profession. And for me, it's just something for me is wherever you go, if I help build you up as a person, that for me, that's satisfying that I help somebody else. I may not know it 20, 30 years down the road, but they're going to be thankful that they had the opportunity to learn from us. And that's just a personal win for me. So we're increasing on our service side, and we got a couple other avenues that we're looking at to possibly maybe expand in different areas. So we got a couple ideas.
Why not double down where you currently are? Is the addressable market not that large, I guess, with the corrosion of pipes, for example?
No, there's plenty of work. It's just everybody sees the price tag and they just feel it's like the new gold rush to get involved. But what everybody doesn't understand is the structural side and the safety of it. They're just going to Home Depot, getting a couple guys, let's dig under here, and they're not seeing all the hidden liabilities that's involved in there. And people are, especially right now in the market, everybody's just looking for the cheapest price, not knowing what they're getting.
Yeah, and it's hard to convince someone when something's 10,000 versus 7. They're like, oh, $3,000 savings, and the person can talk well and convince them. And it's like when you build a pool, right? And it's the lingo is difficult to decipher which one's better than the other. But I will say, I did look up your Google reviews and your website. You are you're very modernized compared to your competitors, right? And can you speak to that for a moment? Because most plumbing companies aren't, right? Most of the time, I go to a website and it looks like it was built in 1995, right? I look at their Google reviews, they have 4, right? And it just seems like they don't care about that stuff. They work mostly via referral, right? Through other plumbers who don't want the business or contractors. But I sense you're doing both. You're getting the referrals on one side and you have a digital footprint, which is the same reason why you want to come on the Shrimp Tank, right? You see the
Absolutely.
value. Your team reached out. You're streaming this show live. Right before the show, they're like, let's figure this out. They called me. And I love that because I see that you're trying to expand digitally as well. So can you speak to that for a moment?
So yeah, that will expand on a lot of stuff that we talked. That's my digital team.
Yeah.
So they help me out with that because I don't know and I don't have the time for it. And I like to stay pretty on top of technology. And I guess that's the era that I grew up in. You know, we went from pagers to cell phones to now a smartphone. So being in that, I always feel you need to have the pulse of what's going on. No, not just knowing your market, but how things are going. And right now it's with AI. And as an established business and older generations, you might not be looking at that, but the newer generation coming in, they're coming in with that AI background. So where it might have cost them generally a lot more money to start up, you can now reduce your cost because you have AI on for your benefit to help keep some of your costs lower. So if you don't stay on top of it, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah, good for you. That's what the one of the department meetings around the university was today. So I think you'll see more faculty opting in and engaging with AI as well. So you mentioned building up employees. Let's give you an opportunity to do that right now. Most of these students in here are 19 to roughly 21 years old. Maybe some outliers, but generally speaking, what's one piece of advice maybe somebody gave you when you were younger or you had to figure out along the way that you think would be great to hear?
One piece is going to always stick with me is actually when I was working with my brother, when he said, always work with the highest guy, whether it's the owner, the manager, because they're in that position for a reason. You're going to learn not just how to do that actual specific task, but how to manage people. And that's something that doesn't get said a lot, is managing people and communication, how to communicate clearly and specifically for what you want, because the quality of your life is going to be on how clear your communication is.
Completely agree with that. And what we're going to do is transition to our student segment where students are going to come up and ask some questions. So everybody in the audience, feel free to line up here, come on up and ask Jimmy a question, of course.
Hi, Jimmy.
How you doing?
Thanks for this opportunity. Firstly, I would like to appreciate your points. Like down the line in 25 years, you said that whatever things you do, it's like whatever the things that you're going to contribute, it's going to help others and you're going to feel happy for that. Like that's really awesome. And managing people, communication and branding, like this plays key role. So coming to my question, so before starting any startup, before building any product, is building a brand plays key role. So before building any startup, do we need to build a brand first?
Logo, I guess is what you're saying. Logo design.
Not
website.
logo, complete branding on social media and everything to build a trust.
I'm going to go on him. You got to see what product the people want. And as long as there's a market in it, then you can bring everything with you. Because if you try to give your brand, but there's no market behind that, then you're still not going to move anything. So now day and age, with as cheapest thing is to get your information out there is to see that there's a market for it.
Well, and I'm guessing you're alluding to kind of like building up your personal brand. I do think that's an important mechanism for students. You may not need to lean all the way into it and become an influencer, though I know you may all want to, but at least a LinkedIn presence, some connections, some networking at a minimum. But if you do go down the route of building a larger, bigger, broader personal brand, yeah, if you have an audience, I mean, you wouldn't want to do this, but if it's a large enough audience, 0.5% of people buy anything. It doesn't really matter what you sell, but I don't necessarily endorse that route.
And you could come up with it overnight. I mean, nowadays, everything's free. Instagram handle, Facebook handle, LinkedIn handle, right? You create these one-page websites for free through Google. As long as you have a Gmail account, throw it into AI, come up with a logo, and you're ready to roll. I mean, everyone's going to simplicity, right? Everything's all on the news right now because people disagree with like Crocker Barrel's logo, right? But at the end of the day, like use my brand OWL, right? I was told you have 24 hours to come up with the name of the company. And then 24 hours, they came up with the logo and it just stuck. And I've kept it the entire time. Connect, learn, grow. And I haven't thought twice about it because no one cares about so much the logo in the early days and the business cards you have and the email domain. It's most importantly to just get moving. Too many people spend months asking too many people about what do you like better versus just focusing on what Kevin's saying. Just get your product out to the market. All that stuff could be fixed later, and you could acquire a company, and then all of a sudden you're their logo, right? Just like Jimmy did, right? He's got Bob Smith Plumbing, right? And he kept the name. He could acquire another company, switch their name, right? They could have a bigger social presence with millions of followers and be like, let's go that direction, right? So really, it's about just executing is the most important part.
Yeah, let me add one more thing too. For students who are thinking about starting a website and building out an e-commerce store and all those kind of things, they do have an expense as you start building out a store and doing all those things. And there's a good chance that all the students at Florida Atlantic University will be able to access about $2,000 worth of assets, web assets, e-commerce back end through a partnership with GoDaddy. Maybe, but I'll tell you one thing. The first students to find out about that partnership will be the ones tuned into this show.
I'd like to finish with, if you want to build your personal brand, be authentic, be you. Don't be scared to be you. I think that's the biggest problem with brand building, personal brand building, is you're worried about what people are going to think or the feedback you're going to get.
Yeah.
Don't let that bother you, because if it was, I wouldn't be up here today. Just be authentic and just be true to yourself.
Yeah, that's right, Jimmy. And I wouldn't be wearing this stupid hat, but I am.
He's owning that hat. He's owning it. I can't wait till next week's hat.
I just want to add one point. I just want to say about myself. So back in India, I built a brand for the startup. Within 5 to 6 months, I had grown it to some 60K followers, and we had run with the user acquisition also. And here in US, even Dr. Cox know it. I'm building personal brand. I'm not only building it. My target is down the line for 10 years, not only now. I want to build a sustainable brand with my name, and it started growing. I'm helping people about abroad life, helping students most probably how to start their careers and everything about scholarships and all these things. People from India, people from Nigeria and US, and people from different universities from US are approaching me, and I think it's a good start for me. And as Jimmy said, same down the line, 25 years, 10 years. That's a cool point.
It's doing it week in and week out. Right? Too many people do it for a year strong. Quit. You're better off just doing it once a week for 5 years, 10 years, and repeat. No different than this podcast show. We have 340 episodes.
Right? We have
everyone. It was in me and Kevin's ears all the time. Like, oh, why are you even doing that thing? I mean, I'm sure Kevin got that a lot. I got that thing a lot. It takes so much time of your week, and we just kept doing it. And now look at us. We are the first podcast in the world that has built it in as part of a curriculum, which is everybody sitting in this classroom right now, but it took just keep going week after week and me knocking on Kevin's door and be like, we can't not do a show next week. And Kevin let's just skip. And I say, nope, we're showing up, and we figured it out. So great points. Okay. Do we have any more students who want to ask some questions? Come on up.
Hey guys, I've got a question for Jimmy. So I was curious if there was a point where after you took over Bob Smith Plumbing that you were able to step away from the day-to-day, the operations. And if so, what were 2 or 3 obstacles that you had to overcome to do that?
Well, one obstacle I think is with yourself first, being willing to step away. And something that helped my wife and I was we've been in the personal self-development for quite a few years now. And one of them was you had to go away for a week. And the very first one we did with that program, you actually had no phone for that week. So not only are you just stepping away, you have no contact, no communication. So that is was one of our biggest challenges and fears, is to step away, thinking, hey, if the business is going to be back, still working when I get back. So with that is one of the biggest challenges, being able to trust yourself and your team to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's probably come up almost more than anything else on the show. And people building a business is going from working in the business to working kind of on the end of business, kind of beyond the business.
Were there any changes you had to implement in your business after that first week?
Not necessarily changes, but just trust your team more and trust yourselves. And you start working to make it a little bit so it's not just when you're going away. You got to, and I'll use an example that I heard in a podcast is when you're going to go on vacation, you do everything in your power to make sure all these things are in place for you to go away. Well, why not do that every day while you're still there? So that way you don't have to be tied down 24 hours a day, even while you're in the business. And my wife and I have been working on that for the past several years now. And every day we get a little bit closer, and then sometimes you feel like everything's falling apart, it ain't working. And again, that's you working through your own mental challenges and getting over that, and then getting right back at it and going back to momentum. Just keep that momentum going, keep going, plug in. You're not going to get the same results or the results you want every single day, but don't let it keep you down. Just keep that momentum going, because that's really what makes the difference between the people who succeed and the ones that quit, because you don't fail until you quit.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Great question. Okay, we have time for one more question.
Yeah. So hey, I'm a master's student here at FAU. I'm currently pursuing my master's in artificial intelligence. I'm completely drenched right now. So
It's okay.
the reason why I say that is I had a question in my mind, and this is to a lot of students over here as well, which is how can AI help your specific big business, which is plumbing, and especially in in places like Florida where it's raining so heavily almost every day, right? So how can AI help, and how can I build a product for you?
Ooh, I
Awesome.
like that.
Appreciate that. So mostly in our industry, and we get these offers all the time, AI is basically being given to us to either be another salesperson to drive up sales or to answer the phone. Those to me right now, I can wait on those because I like that personal touch. As he was saying earlier, I want somebody to answer the phone. I want it to be quick, and I want it to be able to give you the answers you're looking for. And the sales can always come. I'm really looking on using AI that we got a company working on is on the back end. So where I can control the cost of operating, if I can start minimizing that, I can start making money because I'm not just tied to bringing in the revenue. I'm able to increase my profit margins. So that's how we're using AI right now. We're building on that. But primarily in our industry, everybody's using AI to drive sales or to answer phones for customer service.
Do you have any idea that AI can help physically?
Ooh, I like that. Going on.
That seems to come around that they always put in that, oh, AI is not coming for all these trade jobs. I want to take a step back on that because from when AI was introduced to where it's at now, I mean, it has leaped. And if you see in China with what they're doing with a lot of these robots, I don't really think we're that far away before some of these can start doing some of these easier tasks. And then with that advancement, I don't see it being too far away before them doing a full on human task.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, Jimmy, to wrap up the show, what we want you to do is give your best piece of advice to these students. What comes to mind?
Didn't we already do that?
We kind of did it, but you said multiple different things. It was specific. Okay.
Let me tell you what's going on at FAU around here. Join us if you're talking about AI on September 16th, 3 to 5 p.m. We got Gen AI expert from the College of Engineering, Fernando Koch. Be sure to register for that event. The boot camp starts the first week in October. Next week, we've got our information session on those of you interested in the blue economy, the ocean economy. We've got a new track in our business pitch competition, specifically emphasizing ideas and concepts and solutions for the blue economy, which matters a lot down here in South Florida. And stay tuned for some exciting news about GoDaddy, but we got to get that contract nailed down. That's it.
Okay, Jimmy, is there anything you want to share with the class, I guess, in general, or any of your potential customers that are listening in or your employees?
Again, I like to push on the personal side. You know, don't worry too much about what other people are doing. If they're not doing it, don't worry about it. Do what you need to do. Always look to improve because you may not realize it, but the management is always looking. They're noticing whether they see you physically or not. They see the numbers as well. They know who the people that are committed who want to improve on themselves. So just stay true to yourself, stay busy, find the best guy, work behind them, find the best few guys, work behind them, learn all the different personalities, just expand yourself in that way. Don't find the lowest of the barrel and stay there.
Okay. Well, Jimmy, thanks for joining us here on the Shrimp Tank. Everybody tuning in. We'll be back next week at 1 p.m. Take care.